That just dropped my heart.
All right, all right.
Oh, okay. All right. I am Alicia, and I'm doing mine on premature babies. And don't mind me if I'm a bit biased. My computer's needs some travel, and none of you can say anything about it. Throughout the year, over 500,000 babies are born premature, whether it is between a month, a day, a week. Here is just a different graph that I have that shows between, it could be between different races, different backgrounds. If you're born anywhere between 23, you have a 17% survival rate, all the way up to 32 to 33%, or 32 to 33 weeks, you have 95%. So the earlier you are born to your birth date, you have a better chance of surviving. But I mean, like it shows up there, if you're born that early, you still have a chance of surviving, but you're sure you're just going to be in the hospital for a while. August 29th is when my sister told me that she was pregnant. Is my first and only niece, or well, I have a nephew, but first time hearing that I was going to be an aunt, so I was very excited. She was 28 weeks pregnant. Called. Her doctor said, you know, I'm just going to go to Florida for the weekend, just a little 2-day trip. They have another house down there. I said, it's fine. Go ahead, go down and travel. She does. She is down in Florida and goes into labor. She was supposed to only be there for 2 days. She was there for 45. She was not able to leave the hospital for the first couple of weeks, nor was my niece able to, and that is my niece actually. She was born 4 pounds, 5 ounces. We got the phone call that she went into labor, and of course got a flight right away and went down to Florida. Once my niece was born, Abby, none of us were able to go into and see her. My sister was not able to hold her. They were not able to feed her anything. Eventually she was able to, as long as she was able to produce enough milk. She finally did take it after 45 days. They actually put her on a plane instead of driving her. So 45 days old, she was on a plane more than I was. And got on a plane, came back to Pennsylvania. She was in there for 5 weeks in the neo-intensive care in Florida. Then she came back to Pennsylvania. She was in there for 5 weeks in intensive care there. She received physical therapy for 2 years. They would come to the house and make sure she's rolling over, make sure she's every different little step. They would just come once a week for the first 2 years, even once, just to make sure she was doing her first step, going up the stairs and everything. Then for the first 5 months, she was wearing an apnea belt. Basically, first time I held her, she had this around her waist, and then she was hooked up to that machine, which basically was just checking to make sure her heart and her breathing was right. The first machine we got, we wanted to throw out the window because we're not start beeping or making any kind of noises. So finally we got one that, of course, just scared the daylights out of all of us because it was beeping. Of course, meant something's wrong, but it was just the machine. So it was just basically checking her heart rate and her monitor, or her heart rate and her breathing. And after that, this picture was actually the weirdest one. Her first best friend was Swoop from the Eagles. And you can see that Swoop was almost bigger than her. Just to see how tiny she was, because a little stuffed animal that big. And now that is her now holding it. And those are her 2 friends, Swoop and the Dramatic, in there. The craziest one I think is that's my sister's hand holding her. You can just see how huge my sister's hand is. She just has the whole hands compared to my niece holding her. And the end.
Nice work. Thank you very much, Alicia. Josh?